more minutes for folks to show up. All of a sudden, everybody got here, so we'll get going and get this thing kicked off. So welcome to Elko's inaugural Nurses event, celebrating nurses. During this week, Nurses Week, it's extremely important to celebrate how vital nurses are to our community. This year more than ever, with what's happened in the last year, it's a perfect time to kick off an inaugural event that celebrates what nurses mean to our community. So, first I want to thank the sponsors that really made this possible. Without them, they're the ones that help us put this together. So our presenting sponsor, MedX Air One. So we have Paul and his team here. So thank you guys for sponsoring this extremely important event. We'll let Paul and these guys speak a little more about what they do in the community and kind of their thoughts. But first, I'd be remiss if I didn't say I'm excited that everybody's here in person. As I looked at putting on this event, and as a team we've worked to put this together, we've been in a virtual environment, and our whole plan and purpose was to host this virtually. And we called an audible about, 3 weeks ago, and we kind of talked this through and said, the community's ready to have an in-person event, we're ready to meet in person, and what better group of people to trust in really, providing a safe atmosphere to come together. So I'm really excited that we're able to come together and as a community celebrate the incredible nurses that we'll honor tonight. So before we get kicked off, I'm going to step out of the way, and we're going to show a video from MedX Air One. It won't come on?
It's saying can't locate the internet server.
Oh, geez.
However, it says we have internet.
Okay, so give us a pause real quick. We might circle back to that.
Oh, it might have shut itself down because we didn't use it.
Okay. So I'm going to move on one moment. We'll come back to that, so we won't skip a beat. So I also want to thank our title sponsors. So we have Coach USA, and here representing them today is Mary Wassam. So thank you, Coach USA. And Nevada Health Center is represented.
According to studies, there's one food that raises testosterone by 52% and 78% increase in your overall sexual health. So one of my buddies texted me the other day, and he was asking for some help with getting in shape. And he said that basically he's just completely out of shape now. And he's trying.
Skip the ad. All right. You're not up.
MedX Air One, Northern Nevada's local emergency air medical provider. We have more assets in Northern Nevada than any other provider, including helicopters, planes, and ambulances. MedX Air One was founded by a Nevada resident who believed the high cost of emergency air medical transport should not affect a...
Oh yeah, we're in Elko, so it has to buffer a little bit.
So I guess these are the benefits of a live event, right?
Yes.
Good introduction. Yeah. Well, we trust we did a walkthrough. Everything's great. It's working. We're testing sound. And I guess that's what happens when you don't refresh. So, all right. I'm going to step back in. And Paul will get to the video in its entirety. So they've really put together an incredible video that we want you to see once the Elko internet buffers. So we also want to thank our community sponsors. So we've got Princess and a Redneck, La Fiesta, Cook's Steakhouse and Saloon, Leanne's Floral Designs. I think you guys see a lot of how these have all contributed. Blum Jewelers, Ogie's Deli, Lynn Terrace with Edward Jones, Next Home Realty, and Evergreen Flower Shop. So, do we want to try? Getting this back. Well, what we can do is, as Nancy's working on that, we'll move on with the program, and we'll get back to the video. So, sorry for the technical
patient in need of critical care.
Okay, opposite. The video is not going to play from this point forward.
request us by name. Just say, transport me by MedX Air 1.
So my story is unique. I did construction before I was a nurse, and younger brother, had abdominal pain, so we ended up in the ER, and he had a guy for a nurse, and it was kind of like, the bells were going off, and I asked that guy about his experience and job, and my mom was a nurse, and she called me the next day and suggested nursing school, and I signed up the following Monday, spent a bunch of money without knowing if I'd like it or not, and here I am, 12 years later. Here today, I'm in Elko with the crews. I can run to the hospital and help them if they need an extra set of hands, or if somebody doesn't have a coat, I can get them a coat. Every day is different, and that's really kind of one of the enjoyable parts about it is I get to do so much. We're a great resource for the community. I've personally seen this grow over the last 5 years. We're able to sort of bring the hospital to you, or bring the ICU to you, basically, and initiate a level of care that is really quite high, almost immediately, and then hopefully make some progress with people, while we're transporting them.
We're here to serve the community, and that means going the extra mile and doing a little more.
I have been a nurse since 1993. In May will be 28 years since. Not really sure how I ended up as a nurse. It just knew I needed to go back to school, and ended up starting some night classes, and then next thing you know, I'm enrolled in a nursing program. My mom was a nurse, 40 years for her. So ended up following her footsteps, not really expecting to, and there you have it. I started in education, I think, because I just have a knack for all the way back in the beginning days of nursing, when I started out working in an ICU and then helping other people understand a concept or why we're doing a certain thing. And I developed a knack pretty early in my career on how to break that down, simplify it a little bit to try to get a wide majority of people to understand exactly what are we trying to do here, what are we trying to accomplish. But we've also identified a huge need with the local communities in Northern Nevada, in the local hospitals and all of those EMS and nurses, and that there's a huge hole here for education in Northern Nevada. So very blessed to work for a company like MedX that employs me and encourages me to go out and identify these individuals that do need education, be it at the local hospital here in Elko or in Battle Mountain or Winnemucca.
Our nurses all have a passion for patient care in common. Passion to serve, to learn, to work. We're working to save lives.
So I've been a nurse for 12 years. I started in critical care. I have always worked in critical care. As a new grad, I started on CIC at Renown and worked there for 4 years before coming and moving over here to the Elko area. Nurses are everything, especially in our rural area. We don't have a lot of capacity for support staff, so the ER nurses and MedX interact on a daily basis. Every time we have a transfer that goes out, a patient that needs to go to a higher level of care, whether that be that they're transferring to Utah, they're transferring to Reno, they're transferring to St. Luke's, or wherever they need to transfer to, our dispatch initially goes through MedX anyways, and so that's who we initially contact as MedX dispatch. Not only that, but Randall is huge to us as well. Randall's big helping me out with continuing education with my staff and making sure that they have that education provided to them, and Randall's been a huge part of that. So,
why did I want to become a nurse? That's a very good question. I think from a young age I knew that I wanted to go into the healthcare field, and I don't think I knew exactly what I wanted to do until I was in college. I remember taking a human anatomy course and being fascinated by the human body and medicine and how everything interacts with each other. And I shortly after job shadowed a couple doctors, nurses, and I realized that nursing.
Oh, man.
While we're waiting for that to buffer, I want to give my team a huge thanks, even though we've got a couple technical glitches. So I've got a lot of folks here from my team. Nancy Streets, our advertising director. We've got Anthony up here, our sports guru, taking some video. Jeff Mullins, our managing editor, so they're getting this all online. Cynthia's right in the middle here, taking some video. We've got Liz, Susan, and Cassidy in the back, and they're the ones that help bring our sponsors to the table and fund this program. So I want to give them a special thanks and great setup. So good opportunity there to thank my team. So hopefully we'll be back up here. I guess that's also the fun. It's a little easier to kind of ad-lib and you know, when life throws you a little curveball, I couldn't imagine doing this in a virtual space. I think that was one of our fears, but here we are kind of dealing with some of the same technical issues. So hopefully we'll get this going. Kind of as we got the program kicked off, though, we didn't really give an opportunity to give a round of applause to our sponsors. So let's start with MedX Air One. So thank you very much. And then, of course, all the other sponsors. I'm not going to go back through the list. We've got Coach USA and the others here. Well,
Yeah.
why not? We've got Coach USA, Nevada Health Centers. Let's keep the applause going. And of course, you know, the internet's always a good news story, and Wi-Fi here in Elko. So hopefully things with infrastructure will be improving. We'll see.
You could talk about how this whole program works from the nomination.
Yeah, good point. We don't have a slide, but we don't need a slide. I was kind of looking for my cue here. So we did start this program back in February. You know, what the Elko Daily Free Press, you know, brings to the table is we've got an incredible audience, an engaged audience, an engaged community. You know, with the tools and resources that we have available, we're able to reach out extensively into the community and get the feedback and kind of pulse of what's going on. And through this program, we partner with a company that allows us to, you know, have the voting and ballots, and we have different programs that we run through that. And with this program, we ask the community to nominate the nurses that have really stepped up, gone above and beyond what their regular call of duty asked for, and you know, folks that wanted them recognized for what they do to the community. And so we go through a nomination process, and then we send out extensive communications to the community asking you to give your feedback. We want to hear from you. It's your voice that really contributes in the direction and the ultimate honorees that we're here to celebrate tonight. So that's what we've done. I want to give special thanks to the judges that helped us review those nominations. So we have Billy Crapo, the CEO of the Elko Area Chamber of Commerce. So thank you, Billy. We have Annette Kerr, Elko County's Emergency Management Manager. So thank you, Annette. Corey Peters, Vice President and General Manager of Coach USA, who's also one of our event sponsors. So. And with that, Paul, is it all right if we come back and maybe finish this up, and we'll keep the program going, because we've got an unknown. We'll give it maybe 1 second here. Anybody have any great stories to tell? You want to jump in? Great weather. Everybody ready for summer?
Yes.
Yeah?
And cold spring.
It's been a cold spring. Yeah.
And
And the wind.
windy.
I thought I tried hotspot, but it's not asking for a password, so I can't do that.
Okay.
We'll just move ahead then.
All right. Well, we're going to ask our guest speakers to come, and then we'll circle back to MedX Air 1. So to start our program, we have a few speakers from the Elko community that we're excited to have here today. So Dr. Bryce Putnam is a dentist with Nevada Health Centers. He's also one of our event sponsors and also Elko County's health officer. So please welcome Dr. Putnam.
I feel freaked out without a mask. I just want to let you guys know. So I did prepare a speech, and I am going to do it. It wasn't, I got here and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have a podium or anything. I'm probably well overdressed, but that's okay. We're going to roll with this and we're going to do it anyway. But first of all, thank you so much for having me here today. I really honestly just want to thank all the nurses for the past 18 months. This has been one of the most trying times in recent memory. And you are all truly exceptional people, and you do exceptional work. I did want to go over with the last 18 months is that some of the things that you've had to endure, and I just want to see if any of this sounds familiar. The long days, the sleepless nights, the constant organizing, the problem solving, the delivery of care, the delivery of supplies, the defeats, the tears, the mask marks, and with the mask marks, this guy's going to need some bro talks like stat at the end of all this. The breakouts from the masks, the breakdowns, the worry, that little voice inside your head asking, why the hell am I doing this? And the other voice saying, I'll take care of that myself. The victories, the triumphs, the indescribable toll that this has taken on all of you. And the fact of the matter is that most other people will not understand. And finally, and more importantly, the true impact each of you has provided for our community. Your work will never be forgotten, ever. This town is absolutely blessed to have your caliber of nurses in this town serving them. And I hope you stay with us for years to come. I want to read a quote from an unknown author, and here it goes. Simply, nurse, just another word to describe a person strong enough to tolerate anything and soft enough to understand anyone. This is what you do as nurses each day. Just when you think you've had enough, you've signed on for another 5, 10, 15, 30 years. This isn't just your profession. This is your calling. You and all of your nursing colleagues empty your souls every single day in everything you do. We celebrate all of you today because you are truly what's right with the world. Thank you for your service for Elko County, for the city of Elko, and your places of business. I know that all of you are in different places. Thank you so much for that. And the second part of why I'm here today is to talk to you about a little bit about a hero of mine. If she were to wear a cape, not only would it be extra tiny, but it would simply say, Texas Sassy. Jessica Segovia is not only a hero of mine, but one of my favorite people. She's a trusted friend, excellent mother and mentor, and an advocate and voice for the underserved population of Elko County. Her role as manager of clinical services at Nevada Health Centers is absolutely invaluable to our community. But her title signifies only a fraction of her true impact. During the pandemic, she was a teammate on the front lines of testing. You could find her talking to the Abbott rep when the PCR machine was down. You could see her handing out PPE to all the staff, ordering supplies for the clinic, and fit testing each employee for the N95 masks. She was a liaison and partner with the county to help deliver Nevada Health Center's vaccine to widespread populations throughout northeastern Nevada. Her efforts helped disseminate over 9,000 COVID vaccinations to our communities throughout our vaccination pods. This includes every weekend for almost 4 months. Take a deep breath, Jess. Teenagers are next. After the long pod weekends, she and her team would manually enter those 9,000 patients into WebIZ. make a report to the CBC and to Red Cap, literally hundreds and hundreds of hours. She didn't do it because it was her job or because she had to. She did it because she cares about her team and she cares about this community. I found a quote that signifies what I think Jessica means to me, and it's, nurses dispense comfort, compassion, and caring without even a prescription. Jess, you are the prescription of compassion to so many. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything you do. We appreciate you and all of the nurses. Congratulations to everyone. There's no one more deserving of the awards than you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Putnam. I mean, we're one speaker in, and already some tremendous stories and the connection that you have. And again, the last year, you know, this is going to be a special evening sharing these stories. So thank you again. Next up, we've got Mary Wassam. So she's the Senior Human Resources Generalist with Coach USA. So welcome, Mary.
Well, I can't follow that up very well, so mine's a little short and sweet. So bear with me. This was kind of thrown on me last minute. We just want to say that all the medical staff in our community should be commended for all of the sacrifices and hard work they've gone through during this pandemic. We are here today to honor a select group of nurses whom Coach USA and the community have gone above and beyond. Coach USA has continued to operate during the pandemic, transporting our community's hardworking men and women to work. Our employees and their families have greatly benefited from the hard work of the medical professionals in our community. This event today represents a very important part of doing business within our community. Thank you for being here today, and please join me in congratulating these fine individuals.
All right, thank you again, Mary and Coach USA. Next up, Amber Dinelli. So Amber received her original nursing degree here in Elko at Great Basin College, so sitting back there, and later a PhD from UNLV. Go Running Rebels. So she joined the faculty at GBC in 2006, and for the last 7 years has been Dean of Health, Science, and Human Services. And of course, you know, great award that was awarded to the Great Basin College yesterday, the news story, so congratulations with that. So let me welcome Amber.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am usually podium dependent, so I am so excited to be here. It really is an awesome opportunity for me to talk to everyone, share a little bit about my experiences. I think I have had interaction with every single nurse that's receiving an award today, all duly deserved. I had an opportunity, believe it or not, years ago with Janet Peck. She has been one of my mentors. I started out running ambulance and ended up going on and working with her through American Med Flight. And during that time, I learned a great deal from this woman. So today, to be able to be here and be part of her recognition is a big deal. So this past year, we've seen a lot of things. We've heard a lot of things. A lot of it has been on the media. We've seen a lot of it dramatized. And some of the day-to-day stuff that you haven't seen are nurses work a lot of hours. They interact with a lot of people, and some of that interaction this past year has been being that support person, which I think should receive additional recognition in the fact that I got to experience what it's like being on the outside of the hospital and having a family member inside of the hospital. And the only thing that got our family through that difficult time was the frequent phone calls from the nursing staff telling us, we're here with them, making sure that their cell phone was charging, and just giving us those reassurances. So lots of times that's what nurses were doing this past year. They were being that family member for others. So I want to recognize anybody who works in any of the hospitals that has been that part. For those of you who are the school nurses, we have worked hand in hand with all the contact tracing with the school district, and we have done that in 3 different counties. That has been instrumental. If we had not had those nurses working with us, working with those families, and helping us through this past year, they all really deserve this. I also want to give a big shout out to Jessica Sequoia. I can't tell you, she's had late night calls from us. She's had early morning calls from us. She's had panicked calls from us. And every time we talk to her, she's always gracious. She always has time for everybody. And so we are very grateful for her. She was actually one of our nursing graduates, and we couldn't be more proud to have her. But everybody across the board that is receiving this award, and even those nurses in our community who aren't, we have just a phenomenal group of healthcare workers, and the nurses within this community are just that phenomenal. Across the United States, we've seen a big uptake in the number of applicants for nursing programs. That is very true in all of our rural areas as well. And so we're excited to see this next group of nurses come. And I think a lot of that is due to the fact that you hear these stories, what they've seen on the media of nurses being there for others, and also just like what you heard, somebody's had a family member who was a nurse, you know, and what they see and how they feel about that. And that's spread throughout our community. And whether that be a friend, my kids are definitely not going into healthcare, but we have family members who are. And so sometimes that leads into, you know, that next generation of nurses. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity today to recognize each and every one of you. I think you're fantastic, and I appreciate all the experiences and interactions I've had the opportunity of having with each of you. So congratulations to everyone.
All right, thank you, Amber. Nancy, any luck before we get going? No internet? Okay. Well, we're going to move forward. So our keynote speaker tonight, Paul Ward, the Executive Director for MedX Air 1. And of course, they're also our premier sponsor tonight. Paul has been a paramedic for 14 years and joined MedX in 2017. A major achievement of MedX is the addition of providing ground transportation to individuals, especially the underserved, for mental health services. MedX employs approximately 25 nurses, and without them, they would not be able to take care of the many patients that they help. Paul's going to speak to us today on visions of hope and what it means to our community. So please welcome Paul Ward.
It's good to be here. And again, my name is Paul. I'm the Executive Director for MedX, and it's a real honor here to be here today to honor the nurses and those that have served our community so well. I do have to give accolades to Jessica as well. She was one that I texted quite frequently in the beginning as we started to unravel the testing issues with COVID and not knowing some of the implications of what that meant and getting access to those services. And so she was incredibly instrumental in helping us stay in service and being able to perform what we needed to perform. So again, Jessica, thank you for everything that you've done. So it's a great honor to be able to be speaking to you here today. So as you saw half of the video, we provide emergency medical transport services to this community, mostly in northern Nevada, predominantly here in Elko and then also in Ely and Winnemucca. Nurses serve a critical role for our organization in patient care, leadership, and clinical education. We would not be able to provide such a critical service to this community without dedicated nurses who day in and day out provide care for patients in their moment of need. We are here to honor those in our community who have taken on the trusted role of nursing. These individuals today have embodied the necessary attributes and skills needed to be called a nurse. They honor us with their presence today, and our community is better because of their efforts and dedication to us as nurses. The individuals who are being honored today began their journey in nursing by subjecting themselves to the rigor of nursing school. In keeping with the theme, which is today of stories of resilience and adversity, I can think of no better example of what constitutes adversity than nursing school. I myself am not a nurse. I chose to take the easy route and I became a paramedic. My program was housed in the same health sciences building as the nursing program. I witnessed many tears from the nursing students as they endured long, difficult lectures, labs, and exams that nursing school requires of them. Many of them were single mothers who worked full-time jobs on top of nursing school in order to survive. Nursing school is not easy, and for them to complete it is an example of resiliency I can only hope to aspire to. With nursing school behind them, entering the field as a new grad, it's the next step in their progress. The first job for new grad nurses is an opportunity for them to hone their skills learned in school and develop their proficiency as a patient care provider. This presents a whole new set of challenges that again demonstrate the stories that each, this presents a whole new set of challenges that again demonstrate the stories that each nurse writes where they overcome adversity with resilience. As their careers progress, they may move into positions or organizations as they understand what direction their career is going to take them. Some find excitement in emergency medicine, while some find fulfillment in a clinic providing necessary care to underserved patients. At this point, it may seem like they have endured enough adversity. However, life still continues to throw them curveballs with adversity. Nurses care for many people who have endured trauma and difficulty. What is not commonly known is the struggles and challenges that everyday life brings to the nurses themselves. In the 3 years I have been in my leadership role with MedX, I am amazed at the life challenges that our healthcare heroes face in their daily lives on top of caring for people on their worst day imaginable. Our country has endured an unprecedented pandemic that has tested the healthcare community like never before. While nurses were battling at work, they were also battling at home. One nurse that comes to mind is a nurse that works for our organization. Not long after joining MedX, the MedX team, the pandemic began, and that presented its own set of challenges of being a new flight nurse, as well as enduring a pandemic and all of the things that presented to us as a healthcare organization. But not long after she had joined us and the pandemic began, she received news that no one wants to hear. She was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer. Her treatment would require aggressive therapy that would affect her health, her body, her self-esteem, and her outlook on life. During the chaos of a pandemic, she underwent a double mastectomy to prevent further complications of her conditions. She's a mother, a daughter, a wife, and a survivor. She's got a great attitude, and it's amazing that she was able to overcome such an adverse trial in her life. During the pandemic, several other nurses that we employ within our organization dealt with tragic family loss, financial hardships, childcare dilemmas, marital stress, and much, much more. Despite all of these battles, these nurses continue to be the support structure for an entire community and nation while everything seemed to be falling apart. The vision of our future in this community is felt to be a little brighter today, thanks to these nurses being honored today. As they continue to serve and care for those in need, we will be forever grateful for their selflessness and dedication to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you again, MedX. Any luck? No? All right. So a note for next year, we'll have a podium. I'm also podium impaired, and it dawned on me as I'm standing next to this high table back there, we should have drug one of those up. But note for next year, so and the Wi-Fi. We'll get back to that as well. So we're going to move on, and we've already heard some incredible stories tonight. And I'm excited to really get down to the reason why we're here, and that's to celebrate 10 incredible nurses in the Elko community. We've got another sponsor that has joined us that has got a special gift tonight, in addition to the great gift bags here that we have from Princess and a Redneck. So we're going to ask everybody when you're being called up. I won't hand them out. I think you can just pick one, pick a color. The order that will go in, the top certificate is yours, so grab that. And then we're going to have Lena Blom from Blom Jewelers has got a special gift, and I'm super excited about this. When I heard about this, I was blown away at what Lena and her team want to do tonight to honor the nurses. So we're going to get started, and Lena, if you want to come up, I'll have you up here, and we'll have you be the star as folks come up. So I'm going to kind of move over here a little bit.
Frank, I was not expecting, oh dear, okay. This is a very special occasion, and really appreciate.
I want you to step over and reach out of the light.
Absolutely. Really appreciate the health industry. Personal friends with many of you. My daughter is a medical doctor. I know the stress of living the life that you live and the giving that you are willing to do to keep the rest of us in the community healthy. So appreciation from Bloom Jewelers and all of us. Just a little something extra we're adding to the already very nice gifts. Congratulations to you all. You are very, very deserving of special recognition that you don't get often enough from all of us. So thank you so much.
So do you want to stay up and hand them out, or would you like me to?
Do you want me to?
Yeah, absolutely. It's your gift, and I want you to hand these out.
Thank you.
So I'll let you come over here on this side, and I'll bring your bag over. So we'll just do it this way. And so first up, we've got Nicole Ceratech. And Nicole is our Reader's Choice winner. So out of everybody in the community, Nicole is the one that the community got behind and wanted to acknowledge. So congratulations, Nicole. I was going to show you what's in here, but I'm not going to try to undo that ribbon. But they'll have these out there, obviously. Next up, we've got Annie Andriosi. So Annie, or let me skip back. I'm sorry, I missed a part. I'm going to read what the nomination said for each. So Nicole, the person nominating Nicole said, Nicole's a true humanitarian and awesome nurse. Her resume and bedside manner are uncanny. So congratulations, Nicole. And next up we have Annie. Annie is a nurse with the Elko County School District at Grammar number 2. And Annie is not with us tonight. Annie goes the extra mile for her staff and students, even delivering meals to families in need. So congratulations to Annie. Her gift to her at a later time. Next up, Jessica Ford with Elko Community Health. Is now with Elko Community Health. So her experience from being a doctor's right hand, attending patients at their most severe and tragic moments, have made her a strong person to be around. So congratulations. Elaine Guerra. So, Elaine's not here. Okay, so Elaine's high degree of caring and compassion shows when she is interacting with folks, the residents at Highland Manor. She leaves a long-lasting impression of her patients simply by being herself. So congratulations, Elaine. Alice Guzowski. So Alice is the nurse manager at Elko's dialysis clinic. She's a great leader and represents the core value of what a great nurse is. Alice deserves recognition for her selfless daily sacrifices. Congratulations, Alice. Mary Headley. So Mary is a district-wide nurse for the Elko County School District. Not only does she fix boo-boos, But she also ensures the health and well-being of students and staff, working tirelessly and never-ending compassion. So congratulations, Mary. Janet Heck. So Janet's a nurse at the Veterans Administration Clinic of Elko. Her caring for our local veterans goes above and beyond as she creates relationships with veterans and their families. Congratulations, Janet. Jessica Segovia. I think we've heard a little bit about her. Jessica's manager of clinical services at Nevada Health Centers and works tirelessly, which we've definitely heard, to improve the health of her patients in the community. In addition to work at Nevada Health Centers, she also volunteers at COVID testing and vaccination events throughout Elko County. So congratulations. I'm surprised one of you aren't texting her right now from Bobby Shanks. Now with us, Bobby's the chief nurse for Elko County School District. In addition, she's an advocate at the Nevada Legislature for Nevada nurses and has worked to get telehealth and telemental services in our schools. So congratulations, Bobby. And Gilberta Thionis. Gilberta, also known as Toonie, is with Lifestyle Behavioral Health and helps people deal with their fears from the health to housing concerns to domestic violence concerns. She is a spectacular nurse that definitely walks the walk for her patients. So congratulations, Gilberta. There's our 10 nurses. Let's give them all another round. So, do we have any luck?
No, we just don't have internet anymore.
Okay, so in the hybrid world that we live in, we're able to blend a virtual event with a live event. And what that means is traditionally in an in-person live event, we'd bring everybody together. We have a capacity here tonight. We'd celebrate these nurses, and nobody else would see or hear the stories that were told tonight, see the incredible acknowledgments and goodies that the community has bestowed on these nurses. But with the virtual environment, we're going to have all of this on Elko Daily. So we'll be able to circle back, and please check out the conclusion of the Medics Air 1 video. They've really done a tremendous job putting that together and obviously bringing a vital resource to the community. So let's give our sponsors another round of applause. Goodies, Mogies Deli, we've got a lot of community support tonight. So I think that's our program. So we've got them all up here. I was kind of winging it because I felt, with the video, you just we're in wing mode. So here they are again, Coach USA, Nevada Health Centers. You're going backwards, Medics Air 1. No, let's go back to the other way. And so all of this will be online. We're going to be sending it out through email. You can check out the individual speakers. You can send it to friends and family. We want to share these stories. We want our community to hear, what we've celebrated tonight. This is kind of the first night of celebrating these 10 honorees, and more importantly, I think we did miss a slide actually going back, and we didn't pause on everybody. So let's maybe go back. I think in the scheme of things, there we go. We had a lot of nominees, and through the process, we celebrated the 10 tonight. So let's give everybody that was nominated. So So again, go online, share this. We want our community to hear these stories, and more importantly, this is an inaugural event. So we'll be back next year. We'll work out a couple of the kinks that we experienced tonight. We'll have a podium. We'll check the Wi-Fi, and I'm sure we'll have the great support of our community next year as well. And who knows? Maybe we'll grow the event and celebrate more nurses, because they're still on the front lines of dealing with the pandemic, and hopefully a year from now we're in a whole different place. So thank you again for joining us tonight. Liz, is there?
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw out two things. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate all of the healthcare in the community. We do have this wonderful backdrop, so if you want to come up and have a picture of yourself or you and your family, we're happy to help take those photos. There are treats in the back from Ogie, and for each of the nurses that are here, you can take home one of the beautiful floral arrangements from Leanne's and Evergreen.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
And if we could get all of the nurses together for a group photo with the backdrop, that'd be great.